Hi guys, I'm Cloud, and before a few things I would like to note before getting into this. Number one, my mic quality might sound a little bit too loud. I did forget before coming in and recording to fix the settings on my microphone, so I will try to do that post-editing. I can make no promises on that, so it might sound a little scuffed or it might sound a little bit too high-pitched, and you might can hear that. That was me moving my controller on my desk. But I will try my hardest to fix that. Number two, I'm going to be like squirreling around, sidetracking, because I cannot sit here for an hour, look into my camera, and then talk to you guys. I got like scroll brain. I've not been tested for ADHD, so don't say I have ADHD, guys. I'm going to be looking at two monitors. The main monitor that I have right now is I'm facing, that has my recording on it, and then I have a second monitor over here that has the Arkham gameplay on it, or something to like focus, like a jingle, yeah, that. So just that is to focus where I will still be talking. I will be taking little moments to take a breath or to cough a little bit like that. Oh my god. I want you to know I sound a little scuffed as well because I did just get back from a month of being away overseas, family, doing other things, and then at the end of the month before coming home, I did end up getting sick with a fever, and I am like being back home. I'm 2 weeks of fighting the fever.
Police and emergency services are urging Gotham residents to stay off the road.
But I'm still sick and I'm not fully recovered, so I still have a little cough and I will be short of breath sometimes, and you will also see me reach down for a large jug, a liter jug of water to stay hydrated. Devs. So I will be taking water breaks, of course, because talking for an hour gets you a little parched. I can't definitively like confirm this will be like, oh my god. I'm also gonna be messing with my hair a lot, okay? Like, yeah. I also don't definitively know how long this video is going to take me. I could be doing it in 2 parts. I could do it in all 1 part. It might be 2 hours, it might be 1 hour. It might even be 40 minutes long. I don't fully know. But it's going to be covering a lot of different topics. Also, trigger warning for essay and RA. I will be explaining some that will come into context later, but there is a trigger warning for that stuff later on. And I do want to give like a quick apology to my mutuals who have been involved in this, who are also friends with KJ. Is the main topic of today's video. Okay, you know what? Hold on. They're doing something. Whatever. I do want to give a like actual apology to you guys for being squished into this and being confused on what to do now, because it is like a broken up friend group and it is kind of messy, and like over time the friend group has started to drift and things have been happening, and I'm sorry for putting you guys in the middle of all of this. That shouldn't have to be a problem, but yeah. That out of the way, the main topic is about KJ, or Chlorophyll, or whatever her new name is on either Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, TikTok, Telegram. I will post all the screenshots above of everything on all her usernames and stuff, so you guys know where like she's at and whatever, because she does not have just one account. She has like multiple accounts across platforms, including the Discord account. This will be covering my past 4 years of friendship with her. It would have been 5 years, but it's now like, it's just 4 and like a half. My 4 years of friendship with her and the things that were said and done in between both of us, and how much of a bad friend she was to me, and she thinks that she's not a bad friend, but she really was a bad friend to me, and via her words alone, and I will post it again up here, saying that it's my right, yeah, it's my right to post this video, and I can talk and tell the truth. And again, this is what happened between us. I don't know what happened between our other friends and other mutuals. That's for them to say their part, their story. Some of them might be involved in my story because they correlate or tie into certain events that have happened. So sorry, but by default, you guys are just attached. This will be covering from the first interaction with her and up into all the dramas that I've been into and up until now and recent. I do want to note that one more note. I stutter a lot and I can't pronounce certain words all the way truthfully, so I will like have a little break moment where I try to figure out a word that I'm trying to say, and trying to fix myself. But yeah, again, this is completely off script video. And also, there are a lot of screenshots that I can no longer have access to because as of now I am removed and banned from the server that all of our friends were in because KJ was the creator of said server, and then she decided to ban me on both my main and alt account from the server. So most of the fights that did happen in that server, all the screenshots that I could have gotten, because most of them were text, I can no longer have access to. So I try my hardest, if I can in the video, to include some of those screenshots through sources, but as of right now I have no access to that, and everything that I can scrounge up is from stuff that I've either saved in the past or things that I'm literally lying around. Also, I will be pulling context, like there will be some clips pulled out of context for videos. Sorry, the sickness, guys. But there will also be some clips that you might think are being pulled out of context, but they are recording clips of past arguments that I've had with KJ and our other friends, and they do tie into this and they do correlate, and some of them might even be clips that just will be audio recordings, for privacy reasons, of course. So they will be audio clips, and then down below I will include an explanation of X, Y, and Z of what's happening. And then I will further include some screenshots of arguments that I have had with her in the past to, just back stuff up. Alright. Now that that's out of the way. Yeah, I have 7 minutes of like hourly talking to get into this. 2022 was a rough year. So in 2022, there was this YouTube channel. I don't know if it's still up to this day. It's called Jolene VA, and pretty much it's what it sounded like. It was a JoJo-based comic dub channel. They supported small artists who made comics, and they had a foot in the door for young, aspiring voice actors. That's pretty much the gist of the YouTube channel. And they had a Discord server, and I decided to join said Discord server. So they have an artist role, and I saw the other artists in there. I picked it up and I started to just post my art out of nowhere, both from JoJo related and not JoJo related art, because I thought it would be great. I thought it'd be fun. I can expand and grow and be friends with more people. And in the midst of that, that's when I did meet KJ. KJ and a group of our mutuals. So what ended up happening is that we all got added to this side group chat, one of those main group chats. I'll post a screenshot of what it kind of looked like. Yeah, it was called Cack Attack, and it held I want to say 7 of us in there, and we all came from the Jolene VA server, and we all became friends really quickly, and we all bonded, and then we had fun because we didn't really talk much in the main server as was, so we kind of segued into talking on our DMs, and then that led to us creating a server together so we can interact and have fun and grow and connect and invite our other friends. I don't think I ever invited any of my friends to the server, solely because I saw it as they just weren't interested in the certain things that happened at the time. That sounded way out of context. Sorry. My friends at the time weren't really interested in the stuff that I was into, like JoJo and stuff, so I didn't think of them to interact well with these certain friends. I even brought it up once to some of my ex-friends, if they would like to join the server, and then they were just like, oh no. And mind you, these friends were my IRL friends at the time, because during this I was still in high school when I had first met KJ, and I met her when she was 14 years old, turning 15, and I was 16, or I was like freshly 16, and so yeah, I met her really young. Squirrel. Things have transpired since then, and we started talking less and less in the server, and talking more and more in the new server that KJ decided to create, and via default name after herself, called the KJ Nation. Why, I'll never know. We never thought about the name, so we just could have left it as is. I was a big help in creating that server, and I had admin to the server. So yeah, it was. I don't remember the amount, but later on, I believe there's like 30 of us in the server, or like 20 of us. Because a lot of us added our other friends to the server, and it became a grew as a friend group, and it like expanded and stuff. Man. So during that time, we were still talking in the Jolene server, and some admin roles have been leaked. Not leaked, but like opened for, you know, hire. So there's like mod applications going around. I thought it'd be funny to apply as a mod, and I thought it'd be great because I thought it'd be cool to be a moderator for a server that had like, I believe at the time it had around 400 people in it, 300. I don't know. I don't remember. I don't recall. I am like long since distanced myself from that server because of events that transpired. Sorry, I had to readjust my seat. It's like I'm sliding. Wow. This is gonna be a long video. So I ended up getting the mod access, and I was pretty ecstatic. I was happy. It was great. And so did KJ and another one of our friends. And then I was like, oh, this is great. I can be a moderator with two of my friends. This is cool. So the server itself was very under moderated. It was very unchecked because the creator of the server, Hay, I think he was in his 20s at the time. He was not even active in the server at all. I think he was only active for posting things to YouTube, and if even then, I think he had somebody else do that. But pretty much he was just never there, and he was always away, and left it server to its own devices, and left the admin to take care of his mess that he should have been put in charge of. The moderation channels were broken up in sections, and I do remember specifically I believe so other admin, previous admin in the server can come out and say that there were multiple channels in the chat, and one of those channels had a bunch of 15, 16-year-olds in it, which I, like, looking back on it now, I always thought it was weird that there was an entire chat log of like 15 and 16-year-olds talking to like, I think there was like 19 and 20-year-olds in there. But I always thought it was weird, regardless. And mind you, they weren't even admin. They didn't have a moderation role. They just freely were in there with a special access role and talking to each other. So that was that. But mind you, so you know, I'm a little 16-year-old immature, and I hadn't turned 17 yet, so like any child, I say and do dumb things. You know, I was naive, I was ignorant. I was a little retarded, I won't lie. The joke I essentially made was thick thighs save lives, and that was towards another person in the server who was actually in that site admin chat. Now, should I have made that joke looking back on it now, no, I shouldn't have. But what transpired afterwards was a whole flood of things that should not have happened. And I want to preface that the girl who I said this about, who posted like a upscale picture, mind you, of like looking down on her face and then her thighs and her like chest and everything. She was like fully clothed. I think she was at school when she took the picture. She is a round. She was a year younger than me actually. She was like 15. So I made that thick live stroke and that shit made everything hit the fan, and then she didn't like my joke, and then I essentially got called a pedophile. It was bad, it was messy, and
where's he going?
Mind you, I don't condone that stuff. I am, and I'm gonna come clean, and I'm gonna actually make a awareness post about it later, coming out in support of other victims like myself, because I am a victim of SA and RA, so I don't like that shit at all. That shit makes me sick to my stomach, and to even be called anywhere towards a pedophile is like correlation to any of that's disgusting, and anybody will agree that's gross, and to throw that allegation out like that was diabolical. And bro, I even said it was a joke, and it was an entire fight. So at the time, I confided in everybody else in our new friend group, in our server, and even in DM. And mind you, because KJ and our other friend were server admin at the time, I just thought they would help me to get against it and to back me up. And because at this point they know my character, they know I wouldn't do something like that, and like I don't enjoy that stuff. So essentially, I got silenced. They said they sympathize with me and they agree with me and that shouldn't have happened, but they never outwardly supported me and to help defend me against it, which was very upsetting and very frustrating at the time because we were still freshly friends, and I was just overly heated about the situation entirely that it made me very, very upset.
As in more than one.
Sorry.
Right. And you heard this from the
the situation.
His name is Killer Croc. He's already behind bars.
Good lord.
I don't.
The situation was really messy to the point where I messaged Tay, the owner of the server, or I think he messaged me about it, and then he was asking me questions about it because all the other admins were kind of in a frenzy in the mod chat, and I tried to explain my side, and that was a joke. And while I shouldn't have made the joke, I shouldn't have been getting called a pedophile for it over somebody who's a year younger than me, because the math for me, that doesn't make sense. And because of that, I started getting called out in the public general chat and mod chat, and then people started bashing me for no reason. So I kind of, told them that's fucked up, and like these people shouldn't even be in there, X, Y, and Z. Why aren't you doing anything about this? And like looking into this seriously by yourself instead of just taking he said, she said, because he was taking the word of minor who had. Actually, they're both minors, but the other minor had called me a pedophile and went on with it and started harassing me. Ultimately, my mod access ended up getting stricken from it. So I was no longer an admin for the server, and because of that, I decided to leave the server. But also around the same time, I did invite my sister to the server, and my sister's older than me. She's a 90s. I trust her judgment more than anything in the world, because she knows what I like, she knows what I don't like, and this is going to play into a lot of stuff. But anytime I need an anime recommendation or a game recommendation, I always go to my sister or my older brother, one or the other, because they either played it, watched it, or they know a lot about it. So my sister, she was talking about an anime in the general chat, and apparently it was marked as a spoiler for, I think it was like Berserk or something. She was talking about something very old that happened in it, and then people didn't like it, and then they started calling it as a spoiler, which ultimately led my sister getting kicked from the server itself. When, guys, I'm gonna get into my opinion about spoilers, but that was the first argument that ever happened, and I was really salty, and I'm still salty about it because, bro, what? So essentially what ended up happening, you know,
Sir,
I just left altogether.
You do
Because
realize that since you and
I'm not
I
going to sit here and be
deal
silenced or
with
something, like
Batman
saying, oh,
identity,
okay, I sympathize with
those
you, but I'm not going to do
assassins
anything
will
about it to
fail their
outwardly,
mandate
like,
if you
protect you and
just
help you
spend
because
the
you are my
evening
friend.
here.
You should
They'll
just
put
shut up about it
innocents
and
in
let it
danger
happen to
to
you.
attract
Just,
my
you know,
attention. I
get
can't
in
take
trouble
that
for something
risk.
that you didn't
And
do that
you
wasn't
think
really
it's
your
a
fault.
better
That's kind of
idea
fucked up.
to just put yourself in their
And
crosshairs?
I will show a screenshot because
There's
this
only one
does
person
play
who got
into
him looking at his
situation
hands
that
on
happens
something
later, and I
like
will bring it
this.
back to
The
tie into the
Penguin.
Jolene
He's been
situation.
tracking Black Mask. Its next waypoint was a rendezvous
And
with Penguin's men at Jezebel Plaza.
it's, yeah,
Make them
because I do bring up the Jolene situation again later on, which is why I will bring up a screenshot about what KJ said to me, that I still, it doesn't sit right in my tongue, like my brain and my tongue, it was disgusting. So a few months pass, and like, I guess like I'm over the situation, and we all don't even talk in the server anymore. The only one who's still active in there was our one friend, who stuck as an admin, because later on KG got lost her admin privileges or just left being an admin. I don't remember how that went down. But we all started talking in this small server together, and you know, we're having a hoot and a holler. So then it starts with, like, you know, friends make little jokes to each other. The little racist jokes started up, and I was like low-key kind of uncomfortable about it, but like I kind of let it slide. Because again, like I said before on my story, which some of you probably did see, is that when I was younger, around the age of 16 to 17, I did make racist jokes as a coping mechanism, and it's not a healthy one, and I should say nobody should ever have to claim it as a coping mechanism or make racist jokes, because it's not cute and it's not funny, and it doesn't make you look better. You just look ignorant, stupid, like, it just, it literally does nothing for you but bring you down. So a little bit about me. I'm mixed. I'm a black Spaniard. My dad's black, my mom's Spanish, Spanish, and growing up, I didn't know what I was, and I was kind of confused about that, because I didn't know where to fit in, and a lot of kids were racist to me, and I have heard every name under the sun. It's not fun being called a tether, either, guys. And it hurts a little harder too, especially with the black jokes, because my great granddad is a runaway slave, and I'm very open about that history, because, you know, it's part of me, to know where I came from and stuff, or after we looked into it, and because I did grow up hearing those stories about how he grew up on a plantation and how it was for him. And this is my great granddad, by the way. So he was around when I was little, but it's really devastating to hear those types of jokes being made now, and having grown up and gotten older and actually doing my research and looking about it, I can't support that. I honestly, I can't make racist jokes. I can't support it anymore, and it's not cute and it's not funny. It just makes you look ignorant and stupid. You look unintelligent when you make those jokes, and that's my take on it. But KJ and the others made like slowly like playful racist jokes to each other, and I played in for a little bit, and then I stopped because I then made it clear like I don't like that stuff, X, Y, and Z. It's not cute. It's not funny. So that's what started, you know, racist jokes, which she never stopped, by the way. She never stopped making racist jokes to other people. I just think it like stopped happening more around me after I said I wasn't comfortable with that. So after I keep coughing, guys, I'm so sorry. After that, then it plays into I'm so sorry, this sickness is getting me, guys. I'm literally like fighting with sickness. Okay. Dude. Bro, I should not have made a video when I'm sick, but it needs to get out there like ASAP. So it started, you know, going to us sharing our interests and what we like and what we don't like sometimes, in the friend group and the server itself, and that's when KJ started to show her hyperfixation on bleach. A moment of silence. So Bleach was the number 2 or number 3 argument, I should say. Like, I'm gonna give the racist slot to like a number 2.0, like 2.1 on that grand scale. But the Bleach conversation started. That was something else. Because the Bleach, she started showing her love for Bleach and was being very passionate about it. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I understand when people are passionate about something and they want to be big and bold about it. But she literally shoved it down our throats like it was like her religion. It led to her getting us to read it on call for the comic or manga, I'm sorry. And then she tried to get us to, I say it as like she tried to force it onto us. And she tried to get us to watch it, the anime and like the shorts and to play the game. So with me, the game I didn't care about. You throw any gacha game at me, I'm going to play it regardless. It's a gacha game, like literally. It's like one purpose for gamblers, and I will play it regardless of what the show is a part of. I guess the same could be said for a dating sim, but that's another topic in itself. So
I can drop smoke pellets to conceal my movement.
it was really bad.
Can't shoot what he can't see.
So I said my hot take on Bleach.
Attacking
I
hell
tried
is a
watching
good
when
way
I was
to get
little.
myself shot.
My older siblings
Probably
watched
the
it and read it,
hostage, too.
and
You won't
we all
expect
agreed it's
that
trash.
from above.
By the way,
He never does.
my opinion and my siblings' opinion, that show in anime is trash. Flat out. It's not that good, bro. There are so many better shows out there and better mangas to read, like Hellsing. Now that is peak. That is goated. So yeah, I said my hot take about it, and I told her to kind of like stop putting it in my face. This, that, and third. Now at the time, in some of these screenshots, or I think it's like one screenshot, but it does look like I have the Ichigo profile photo, and that's because KG was very big into matching profile photos at the time, and I literally was like, okay, it's not gonna hurt me. It's not gonna hurt me to have an Ichigo profile photo. It literally doesn't kill me. It's not the end of the world. So even though I didn't like the show that it came from or the manga to it, I still put it on to match with her to make her happy.
Whatever you want, just
Oh my god,
don't
it's
hurt
like
me.
4 in the morning at the time of recording this. I gotta go fast. So it kept happening, and I want to say it was going on for like a month, into a point where I finally got fed up and I called it out, and I said to stop forcing this shit down my throat. And then on call, her and another friend, it was like a group of us, like I guess KJ and our other friend they both didn't like my opinion because they both like Bleach, but they also told me to shut up at the time, and in KJ's defense of that, she wasn't allegedly trying to get me to shut up, but she was trying to get her side out.
Victim's
Which-
name is David Shannon, a Gotham
Okay.
employee sent here to repair a faulty network tower.
Pretty much how that
What
entire
killed him?
argument went down is that
Scanning DNA impact on the
whenever
wall
I
should
was
provide
voicing
an
my
answer.
opinion, and I let her speak her opinion, by the way, and about how much she loved this, that, and the third, my opinion was still negative. Like, my opinion was still wrong just because I said I didn't like it, and I thought it was trash, and I gave my reasonings why, which were pretty valid. I didn't like the writing, I didn't like the pacing. 99% of the show was filler anyways for the manga. If you wanted the actual action, you had to go read the manga for it, and the manga is so slow paced, to me, in my opinion. And I'm not a big fan of like the characters or the designs or the clothing in Bleach, and it's just not for me. It's not my cup of tea.
Someone really didn't want this tower
So,
repaired, and it looks like
After
that same someone
that,
has
it
his
led to a
fingerprints
group
behind
call
the
that is 2 hours
I'm
long.
uploading some prints for analysis.
Why do I
Let me
remember
know
it's 2
your
hours long? Is
feedback.
because I recorded the entire argument that happened. A screenshot will show up on screen. I did leak the screenshot into my story, but I recorded everything. Even though somebody was like, oh, don't record it, this is unfair, it should be held between friends to figure it out. Bro,
What's curious?
if I need to, I will leak that entire argument, and I will sound like an asshole for it, and I will sound like a bitch. I was really majorly in my feelings, but I was like sticking up for myself and my friend, because my friend at the time was also feeling the same way I was feeling, like we were kind of forced into it. And when we voiced our concerns about it, it was kind of retarded because we were looked over and we were pushed over for what KJ wanted. So, we're gonna let that sink in. But this was a major fight that struck the friend group. And I never got a proper apology for it. Like, oh, well, I'm sorry. Yeah, just let that sink in. Also, I want you to know that further out on from here, from this bleach argument, every other argument that's going to happen is going to be KJ getting mad and upset over my opinion,
This card has the codes I need
what I
to
say
hack
and
any of the
do,
network towers
how I
access
act and
tunnels.
behave. That's just the core three, dude. The core three. That's gonna be the strike of every entire conversation. And I want you to know that I do have a temper. It's not been shunned away upon. I'm open as hell about my issues. I have a short temper, and my
Contact
fuse
the
will blow quick
GCPD.
because it's been
Let them
something
know
I've been
about
trying to
the
work on
body.
for
Send the data
years
from my
since I was
analysis,
little.
too.
That I like about my issues, but oh my goodness, I feel like the coughing fits, bro. my coughing alone is gonna be the reason like half the people don't even pay attention to this video.
Well, if it isn't the King Thug himself. Figured it was only a matter of time before you showed up. Sorry about
Bro, it's gonna give me squirrel brain.
Think of me as a great big mystery.
But about my issues, yeah. I've let my friends know on public and in private, like, hey, I have these issues, I'm trying to work through them, but it doesn't mean that I hate you, I don't like you. But if you take it how I'm behaving a certain way, that's not my intention at all. This is that and the third, and I've made that clear as day. On numerous texts, I had to keep repeating myself because people keep forgetting. Yeah, KJ, I'm looking at you. But people keep forgetting about my issues, and I've actually made great progress on that, by the way. 2024 me is still not the same as 2026 me. I'm like fully good now. And what I actually did start doing was because of that in 2024, because of this bleach issue, like it made me really question a lot of shit about KJ. But tying into my issues, what I like to do now is if I'm ever mad or angry at you, I'm going to avoid you for a short period of time so I can figure out what's going on. Is it me or is it you? How I should handle taking this approach. What approach should I take? How should I talk to you further on? Or how should I bring this up? I need time to process things and time to not blow up, so I actually know what I'm gonna say before I say it, and so I don't accidentally talk to you and then say something that I don't mean, and so things don't turn out into a fight. So now we're gonna get into the nepotism part, and you might be wondering, Cloud, why are you talking about nepotism? Trust me, it literally falls into place. And up the screen, I'm gonna add the definition of what a nepo baby is. Yeah. Sorry, because I get a little kick out of this part. But real quick, definition nepo baby: a person who has achieved success largely on account of having well-known or influential parents or relatives. Now look at me. Do you think I am a nipple baby, guys? Put your thoughts below in the comments. But no, I'm not a nepo baby. Why do you say that, Cloud? Oh my god, why are you talking about nepo babies? Clearly not. Because after a few months pass, we go back to hee haw ha, and going back to basic friendship in the friend group, and then we get to the point in the friend group, in our friendship together, where we talk about our upbringings. We talk about our families, our lives, and what made us us. And out of respect, because I may be a bad friend, but even though we're not friends anymore, I'm still not gonna go through and talk about KJ's upbringing or KJ's life or the stuff in private, in confidentiality, in confidence that KJ has told me about her upbringing, her family, her siblings' family, but her IRL friends, how she grew up. That's her story. If she wants to explain that to everyone, so be it. The only thing I will say for this is like her parent's occupation, and that's like it to tie into my story about this.
Trust me, I'll take out those
But
assassins before they
I'm not like, yeah, I'm not like above where I'm allegedly blackmailing you, KJ. So if we want to go around saying I'm blackmailing you, okay, if I wanted to, I actually could blackmail you with phone number, address, where family works and lives, school we go to, or not me, but like this is refers to you, KJ. Or school you go to, the people you know IRL, the connections that your family has, location of state, government issued name. Yeah, or like family names too. Like if I really wanted to, I would. But I'm not that petty. Even though we know inside. I'm not that petty to blackmail you. So for, yeah, real quick, sorry to throw this blackmailing thing into the nepotism section, but for you to say, screenshot above by the way, I don't know when I showed it, like before I said it or after, but like, screenshot above, you to say I'm blackmailing you? Okay, buddy. That is cinema. That is funny. That is hilarious. Because again, if I wanted to, I would have. And I would have leaked it for the entire world to know on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, Tumblr, Archive of Your Own, Wattpad. I would have. But I'm not that petty. And I have human decency. I have morals. So, remember that. Anywho, going back into my nepotism stuff. So we got into that stage of our friendship where we started talking about our lives and our upbringings, and we get to mine. For those of you who don't know, hi, you're getting a little bit of Cloud backstory, hee and ha-ha about it. Okay, so I grew up as a military brat. I moved around constantly. I was in and out of the country. I had the experience, thanks to my dad, to move around and to see things that I would have never seen before, and that shaped a big part of me. But aside from being a military brat, I also have a lot of medical knowledge. Why? Yeah, I'm like one of those, like, I guess stereotype military kids where one parent's in the military and then one parent has a medical degree in the medical field. That's literally me right now, okay? So yeah, I also have medical in my family, aside from just like government-based jobs from police officers, government employees, and military members. Yeah, it's a I grew up in a really close-knit family, okay? I grew up in a very strict family. I had a lot of discipline as a kid, and that is something I will never regret. I as much as people say, oh, you shouldn't do this, that, and the third. Guys, I'm grateful I got that experience, okay? And so my parents, they have taught me both sides of upbringings, from being a child of divorce and being a child of a loving relationship, or the opposite of a loving relationship, but still having two parents together. I got that experience from both my parents because one was a part of they both had those upbringings separate. One was a child of divorce, one wasn't, and so I got to experience that, and let's just say it's messy. But I am grateful to have that knowledge, and it really made me appreciate what I got and appreciate what I have, and it, like, with the close-knit thing, like, I was raised very close with my siblings. We look out for each other, we have each other's backs no matter what, and they, you know, we help to raise each other, and we're literally a part of who we are. Can't replace that. And we try to share that with, if you don't know, I shared it before, but I'm an aunt, guys, hi. We try to share that relationship to my nephew to show him, like, the amount of love and the appreciation that he deserves and that he needs to have. And we try to teach him right from wrong as well, like a little bit how we were raised, but you know, it's a little bit different because you know it's newer generation. Yeah.
Read this, Simcoe.
So,
They know the locate penguin.
yeah. I will say for my grandparents though, I was a little spoiled. Like any relationship that a grandchild has with their grandparent, they're going to be spoiled by default and like get a very different type of unconditional love, and
I'll need to stop
that was me.
this.
Okay, I was a little spoiled for that. Okay. But my parents, they did teach me right from wrong. They taught me a lot of discipline, self-respect, and they taught me to mind my P's and Q's, my manners. And you know, I'll say I turned out pretty good. I turned out pretty alright. Parents are my biggest fans. They always told me if I wanted to do something, whatever I could do, I could achieve it, and they would be my #1 supporters all the way through. And because of that, I was able to start school at the age of 3. I graduated from high school when I was 16. I got my associates and my bachelor's when I was like 19 and 20. It was just like one right after the other that I got it, and you know, because of that, I get to go to law school now, and I get to do my passion, and I get to do everything that I love. So I was raised, you know, moving around a lot, and you don't know, I'm a Cali girl. I was mostly raised in Cali. It's like one of the major bases that I was stationed at, and got to move around in Cali. And so when you're in Cali, and some of you know that you, for military people out there, you know that it's literally like having a beach house. It's literally like having a beach house. I literally grew up like not even 4 minutes away from the beach. It was literally like in my backyard, dude. So yeah, I was a water baby. I was surfing a lot. I was boogie boarding. So yeah. And I will say, right now I have 2 vehicles. And I'm not trying to brag about this. It literally ties into the story, so you understand. But with my, we have a lot of vehicles in my house because I have one of those car parents. You know, where they're obsessed about cars. So we got like 6 vehicles. 2 of them being mine. The rest are my like families. And yeah, I made a note. So with that information, KJ, I don't know where I mentioned Nepo Baby once, and I never mentioned it again. I don't remember what I mentioned Nepo Baby about, but yeah. KJ went on a spree of calling me a Nepo Baby for a couple weeks. It was almost like a month, and I was very upset about it. But she was like, she wouldn't say it all the time, but anytime we were on call, she would like name drop it like once or twice. And it really got under my skin. I was really upset about it, and it really pissed me off because I tried to get her to stop about it, and like others would call me a rich kid, and you know what? You know what I am rich in? I'm rich in love. I'm rich in love I got from my family. That's why I am rich in. But again, my parents made me work for everything I got, so yeah. Nothing was given to me on a silver platter, unless you want to count My Little Pony toys I got as a Christmas gift when I was little from my grandparents. But it got to the point where me and one of my friends, and again, through KJ, I met 2 people, and those 2 people I became very close-knit with, and they knew KJ longer than any of us. They were friends with her actually long before. I think they met her when she was like 12 or 13. So they knew her a little bit well, and more than I did, and yeah, I'll touch back on you guys later. But I was in a call with one of our friends one day, and we were playing a game, and then I name dropped the Nepo Baby stuff, and they didn't like that. And mind you, this is one of the friends who knew KJ longer, and then they got very frustrated about it. And so they said something for me to get it to stop. And I have no screenshots because again, I'm banned from the server, and I don't even know if the screenshots, like the messages, are still up about the Nepo Baby stuff. But it was, yeah, something was said on call, and then it got her to stop, and it was, like, really messy. But with that out of the way, this plays into the rich kid stuff and the buying. So she went on to complain about how she's broke, poor, X, Y, and Z, this is that and the third. And for that, I say, I don't know how, because like one of your parents' occupations is literally to be a lawyer, and I know lawyers make good money too, guys. Like, and with that lawyer thing, I'm also gonna add about the betterness, but like first we're gonna talk about the rich and poor part. So KJ would go around complaining about how poor she allegedly was, and this led into whenever a game came out or something, and on Steam on her wish list and stuff, and how she would complain about wanting a certain game to play. And so I'm a people pleaser, guys. My siblings will tell you, anybody of my friends will tell you, Cloud is a real people pleaser. I am. It's bad. It's really bad.
Then I'll be able to triangulate Penguin's position.
Sometimes like she would complain to me about wanting a certain game, and then just because I wanted it to end with the situation, I would get it for her, as like a shut up kind of deal, like where I would be like, okay, open Steam, this is that and the third, and just to get like the game so she could be happy, this is that and the third. And in return, sometimes I had to literally nag her as compensation was for art, and half the time she wouldn't even deliver on it. But yeah, and it wasn't even just for that, it was also for like little trinket, like it was only like one trinket I had sent to her house too, or something where she would ask for me to get to her, and then I ended up doing it because again, I'm a people pleaser. I'm gonna do it. Sometimes I got no backbone, guys. When it comes to my friends, I got no backbone. So yeah, I did do that, and it was almost in a guilt trippy kind of way with that she would say it. And even from our last argument, when I talked about it, I opened up about it, and in the way I kind of did it, like the people pleasing thing, when I talked about it to her, it kind of made me feel like from when I talked about it, and I talked to one of my friends about it, and they watched the video, they said, Cloud, your world does not revolve around her, because it was kind of getting to a toxic parasocial type of relationship between me and KJ. But yeah, anywho, it was kind of guilt trippy, I will say. It was very kind of guilt trippy, and she proceeded to say, oh, I'd just be happy if you never bought me anything again, this is that and the third.
I know I ought to cancel our annual boiler deck.
Okay. And then she proceeds to beg other people, by the way. Also, yeah, no, by the way, she begged other people to get her a game or something, in a different server that I'm not in, which is,
Penguin's been hiding out on an old ship. No wonder it's so hard to find.
yeah. But, yeah, let's not even mention the other gift that I had sent to her house, or the gift that I bought for her. Call me a fool, but I want my money back. With games alone, the amount of games I have bought in her in the past, that is roughly almost, I want to say $40 to $50 in games, because it was like the game itself with tax, and sometimes I would get her DLCs. Now I want to say it's roughly around like $40-ish for the games. Not only that, let's add commission prices in, cause you don't know, I'm adding the wolf meme where it's like a child of divorce right now, because that's literally our OCs. You know, I feel like, you know, you should pay for a little bit of half that. I feel like entitled for saying this. Some people might say it too, but my hard-earned doubloons. My hard-earned smackaroons spent on OCXOC art, bro. I want to say that's roughly almost $100-ish. 200. No, not even 200. It's like around like 150. Due to the prices that some of my friends have. Math somewhere above. I don't know. And then including the gifts. I got her like a birthday present one year. It was like a the men dancing around, singing "Happy Birthday," and then they do the song dance, and then they hold a picture. Yeah, it was one of those. That was like $50 on top of the I would say $60 flowers, or it was like 60 50. I have to double check again because it was like a day late for Valentine's Day because we both joked to each other's Valentine. And then not only that, for the little keychain, that was like an extra $15 to $20 for shipping. You roughly owe me almost $200, dude. And I told you. Yeah, by the way, I sent 2 separate messages on a alt Instagram and 2 alt Twitter accounts, and they might sound a little passive aggressive because they kind of are, because I was upset when typing them, and I will show them above. But that was kind of like me asking for my money. I was being generous, okay? I'm only asking for like $150, even though you practically over $200 if we really think about it. So I will be seeking compensation one way or another, bro. And she, by the way, she blocks me on all 3 accounts. So that was kind of great. And call me a stalker, guys. Call me a stalker. I guess call me a stalker for seeking financial compensation back for the money that I wasted on our 4 years of friendship. Like, bro, I don't care if it was a gift or not. I'm kind of upset from the way that I've been treated for the past 4 years. So I feel a little bit, I'm gonna be a little bit entitled to my money back, bro. My time wasted, my time spent on that friendship, bro. So now that the little situation is out the way, I can move on to the rest of the story and stuff. A few more months passed, and before I'm actually gonna touch on the spoiler issue and the shit she said about my sister, I'm gonna hop into the quick thing about TikTok. Because a while back, when I was like comfortable enough to share my old TikToks and when I did cosplay, I was on call one day with KJ, and then I was like, I'm gonna show you this X, Y, and Z, and then I sent her a bunch of old videos of my cosplay from when I was like around like 16, 15 and 16, when I used to cosplay, and when I was like very confident in it. I was like a little bit embarrassed at the time to share and show people, but me and KJ were friends, and I felt comfortable in it. And then she saved the videos. And then I joked about something because she had mentioned talking to her other friends and showing her other friends this that I was in a group chat with. And I was low-key uncomfortable about it, and I didn't say anything at the time because we were joking, hee-hawing, and then I didn't know she was actually going to do it. But she sent my old videos that I had sent her in confidence, by the way, my cosplays to her other friends that I hardly knew at the time. And I was very embarrassed about it. Didn't even apologize or anything, just like went ahead and shared my old cosplays, my old TikToks that I was high-key embarrassed about sharing to the public. Bro went ahead and shared it to her other friends. And I couldn't really do anything about it. And later on I did tell her that it kind of pissed me off and it did make me uncomfortable and it did frustrate me. But yeah, buddy. Since then I have deleted those videos I sent to her. I have no access to see the actual videos that she sent to her other friends because I also got removed from that group chat as well by her other friends because apparently because I make her uncomfortable and I can't share any space with her. So as a precaution, I got removed from the chat. So yeah. That was out of the way real quick. I had to get that known and out of the way. Now I can touch on like the shit that she said to my sister. So yeah, I'm gonna talk about my sister before I get to the spoiler issue. But when we were in call one day, and again, I have said this before that I trust my sister's judgment in anything. I trust my older siblings' judgment in anything. They know me better than I know myself. Again, I go to my sister for recommendations on anime shows, games, X, Y, and Z, etc. because she's either played it or watched it or done her own research about it, and she knows if I'm gonna like it or not. One day we were in call, and I don't know how the topic got to here, but I'm gonna touch on 2 things. but
Penguin is hosting some kind of
my
fight.
sister was talking about certain animes that she knows I wouldn't like, and then I was commenting about certain animes as well. And me and my sister were having a back and forth. And by the way, at the time I was on call with KJ, but my sister came in the room and we were talking to each other. And apparently, that made KJ like upset and like irritated. In her words, I will share a screenshot of the entire shit. She called my sister an anime connoisseur. Me and my sister still joke about this to this day, by the way. And I don't actually know how it had gotten to that point. But she ultimately called my sister judgmental, and she also, like, both me and my sister judgmental and insensitive. And she said that we were always right, or I'm always right, when, real quick, no, I'm not always right, TJ. I know, and I have admitted this. You actually have a high ego. Again, I'm not dragging my other mutuals into this, but from things that I've been told in the past too, and everything that we've experienced together from on call together and like through texts and stuff, actually, KJ, you have a bigger ego than me, and no matter how many times I or other people try to tell you about it, you don't want to listen to us, and you get all high and mighty, and you act like you're some bigger person just because you think you know a lot more about something than we do, because of the fact that and I hate to bring it up that your parent is like a lawyer or something, and that you do a lot of law stuff or know a lot about law, allegedly. First of all, nobody knows shit, bro. I don't care, bro. I don't care. You may act like you know something about a lot about one topic, but you really don't know a lot about another. It's a weird thing to get into, but you have an ego. Other people have. We've talked about it before with other people. Like in private, when I've been frustrated about this, and I try to come to you about it, like about your ego. And it also has to play into the fact of following as well. Like, I don't know what it is. Some people that I've seen who have a large following tend to have like a higher ego, and it's just not cute. It's not cool. Yeah. I don't always pretend to be better than everybody else. I don't pretend to know more than anybody else. It just because X, Y, and Z. The only reason that you might say that is because you've seen me be very passionate about a certain topic that I like in the past, that I know a lot about, like military law as an example. My whole life has been surrounded by military, and I've spent a good chunk of my years studying and practicing for military law, and so that is my big profession. I like looking into all those old things, and I'm going to be very knowledgeable about that one topic. But just because I'm knowledgeable about one topic doesn't make me very all-knowing, and I don't think I'm right about everything. There are things that I know I'm wrong about, and I'm okay to admit that. But you, on the other hand, you have a hard time admitting that, and you have a hard time showing that, and when people call you out on it, you like to ignore us, and that's not cute. But getting back to this topic of what she called my sister, she called my sister an anime connoisseur, and she proceeded to go on just bashing my sister's opinion, or bashing my sister's right. And at the time, during this conversation, me and my sister, we brought up bullying, and we talked about how my sister and me got, we left with stupid issues of like my sister got cancer or spoiled. And KJ thought it was like insensitive, and she didn't like how we were talking about it. And honestly, the screenshot just speaks for itself on how she acted in it. And also in the screenshot, I will talk about hentai porn. Crazy thing to bring up, guys. Crazy thing to bring up hentai and porn. Why are we talking about hentai porn and ecchi? I don't remember who brought it up in the call, but somebody brought up hentai and ecchi. And it was a weird take. Honestly, my thing comes off of yeah, it was mostly the difference between what is hentai, what is ecchi, and what is porn. Again, I'm going to throw up the definitions for each of those things above, and that they are all not the same. They all may include the same stuff, the same topic, but they're really not the same. And it is just that this situation was a hot mess altogether, and I actually can't argue too much about the situation because I feel as if the screenshots speak for itself on the actual argument behind it, what happened. And I will say I really did get very defensive. I'm going to defend my siblings no matter what, but I was really pissed about how her hot take on my siblings or my sister. And real quick, before I jump into the spoiler thing, I want you to know that I don't know what it is, but I think she just doesn't like my siblings, because one time when I was in a call with everybody else in the server, we were all chatting it up, having a fun time, hee and fine, and we were having a great time, and then my brother came over to ask me a question, and I didn't mute my mic, so it's a quick thing. And, you know, I answered my brother's question, he took my room, and that was that, and I went back to talking, and I didn't realize I was mute for like 15 to 20 minutes. And then because I had admin access, I mute myself. I was server mute. And I asked, hey, why the heck was I server mute? And then Cage's response was the sole fact that she didn't like my brother's voice. I got mute because she didn't like the way my sibling sounded. That's immature. But yeah. Also, before we get into the spoiler thing, I will note that she has like said some passive-aggressive things in the past about my sister and my sister and my relationship. Mind you, we have a good relationship. We had a like a silly, messy childhood where siblings do normal things and they fight each other, but ultimately we love each other, we look out for each other, we care about one another. We're very close, and I love my sister. But she has said some passive-aggressive things about mine and my sister's relationship in the past, and I don't think it's cute, and I don't think it's funny. Also, there is a short period of time, like, before she blocked me, she actually went ahead and followed my sister on my sister's main account, and it was kind of weird, and my sister even brought up how weird it was. I agree with it. Also, again, I'm like squirreling around, but I have to get this shit out of here. Before, in the past, actually, like, tying back to the TikTok thing, KG has admitted that she has a folder on her phone somewhere for every single person of her friends as a silly folder. Like, if you have, like, unflattering pictures of yourself, she will save those images and put it in a folder dedicated to you, and she had one for me as well. And I think that's weird, because I don't even have pictures of any of my other friends on my phone or my computer. Like,
That worked better than
you have the time to save that, and then by the way, out of nowhere, out of no context at all, she will upload those screenshots of the pictures that she took or has saved, or the videos, like out of context, and then just send it to you randomly. Or she'll put it in the server and then use it as a server emoji. I only did that for myself like twice, where I uploaded myself as a picture as an emoji to use, but like, yeah, it was very out of pocket to see that she would just take random screenshots of videos that you would send her, or she would find of you. And yeah. Anywho, jumping into the spoilers. First, I would like to say about spoilers on her end. She claims to be so protective about spoilers, but then goes on and spoils like a lot of shit for people. But I'm the bad guy. Sorry, guys. So, in the server one day, I was talking about the Knuckles Archie comics, and this was back when Kim Penders was doing the lore for Knuckles and the entire Echidna clan. And I have a big hyperfixation for Sonic, and I love Knuckles as a character, and I love his lore. And I hate to give Kim Penders like a bone to pick on, but like, or something like for leverage, but I actually like the background for what he did to Knuckles in the lore. I think it's one of my favorite parts of the Archie comics, was just Knuckles' lore and like the entire thing about the echidna race. So I'm gonna give competitors that, okay? I did enjoy reading that as a kid. So I was talking about it because I used to read the comics for Archie. I was also mentioning about how Knuckles dies in the comics. I asked, oh, you didn't know Knuckles dies. He dies in the comics. And then he gets revived. And I was like going on a whole tangent about it, and I was going on a tangent about his daughter, Laura Sue, and about his wife, Julie Sue, just from that era of Archie alone. And KJ didn't like it, and then she kind of snapped at me and then told me to stop, and because she had never read the comics, or never had access to that. And then she was being really sensitive about it, and then she started asking me to spoil it for whatever reason. It was in the general chat too, and I have like sorry guys. Scott's cough. I had said something around the fact about it's been a known fact for 20 years, or over 20 years. I think it's like 15 years actually. That has happened in the Archie comics, and it's literally something that is Googleable, and you can literally Google if you even wanted to read it. By the way, you can Google archive for Archie Sonic comics online somewhere, and they'll have it on an archive linked. And I kind of saw that situation as really stupid for spoiling that, and I'm gonna be completely honest and straight out. KJ, you are not gonna sit there and read the Knuckle Archie comics like I did when I was little. You're literally, I feel like you have no desire to read Archie Sonic at all whatsoever, because anytime I brought it up, you just showed no interest in it. So why are you gonna sit here and complain to me about spoilers about something you're not really interested in?
The casino.
But okay. So okay guys, I'm gonna read verbatim what I said about spoiling, because it literally just sums it up to a T about my opinion about spoilers as a whole. Like I said earlier in the video, I was gonna talk about my opinion. I'm going to bring up my opinion, and I cannot sum it up any better way than my argument to her. The entire thing about spoilers feels trivial because it frustrates me on my end. If spoilers ruin something that's been out for decades, I don't see how it's anyone's responsibility to protect every single detail for others who are late to it. I'm talking casually, and if somebody takes that as me being condescending or blaming them for not knowing, then that's a them issue. I shouldn't have to constantly censor myself because somebody feels new to a show or a book that's been around for years. And if they think that I'm making them feel stupid for not knowing something, I'll tell you right now, that's not my intention, but I'm done explaining myself to others just to make them feel okay. Like, bro, if we want to be for real right now, the Bible is a spoiler for life. But you don't hear anyone complaining about the Bible when they go to church. Sorry, that was like an out-of-pocket thing to make a comparison to. What? Yeah. I'm sorry, but it literally cracks me up every single time I have to think about that. Also, just touch a little bit more about the ego situation. It's not just the ego itself. It's also the fact that you've made not only me, but other people in the friend group feel like actual dumb asses, like children, like babies when you talk to us, because you talk down to us, and most of us are older than you, and it's the way that you talk to us that is really disgusting. You make us feel stupid and retarded because you always have this higher than thou tone when you talk to us about certain things, and you literally fight with us on certain hyperfixations that we have, and then you pretend to act like you know more than us. And like what you told me, that I'm a know-it-all, but you are too. It's a lot of self-projection on your end, and it's really not cute. And sometimes we'll butt into about certain things. Like one time I was in a call with a friend, and KJ was also there, and me and this friend, we were talking about first-person shooter games that we liked, but KJ doesn't really play first-person shooter games, according to her, even though Resident Evil and Doom both count as first-person shooter games, or whatever other game that she has in her library that could count as an FYP. But Amy and this friend, we like games like Call of Duty and stuff. So we were talking about those kind of first-person shooter games, and then KJ argued with us about it and about how she doesn't like those games, X, Y, and Z. And actually, let me pull up the screenshot verbatim because you're gonna see it too. But I need to read it off. Cause me and this friend, we were making jokes about it, and KJ just didn't like the jokes that we were talking about. And we were also the jokes too that we were making, we were like scientific jokes as well, from a scientific standpoint. And KJ was getting like very antsy and negative about it. Okay, here it is. Also, because me and this friend, we were trying to share our opinions, and verbatim, I'm gonna read it out loud. I understand that you guys are trying to share your opinions, which I am sorry I got defensive, but I think the problem came from the fact that we weren't really talking about the same thing, which, by the way, yes, we were talking about game physics, and then it's okay. And that's okay. It was a misunderstanding. I reacted quite poorly, and I know that I have frequently come off a lot different than I intend, and that was kind of what happened. But perhaps what I was trying to say sounded like something very different in you and friend's name. That's on me. So like we were, taking this the wrong way. I do admit that when I argue, I tend to get focused on trying to get what I want to say out and not pick up on other things. Let that sink in. And like you asking, also, by the way, we were, when me and this friend were talking, at the time, KJ and I were playing a game on Roblox together, and I was asking for the invite code, and I kept asking her for the invite code, and then she wasn't paying attention to me because she was so busy with arguing with me and this friend, that she wasn't just paying it. She literally was in her own bubble, in her own world, and was not paying attention. And not only that, but also when me and friend were making a joke, sorry, I'm like looking at it. I know I have to redact like a lot of the stuff from the screenshots because I literally said I'm not going to share any of her personal life. But when me and this friend were making jokes to each other, KJ felt really left out and then brought up her home situation. Into explaining why she felt left out and why she hated our jokes. But okay. There we are. Combined with the fact that it was late and she was overwhelmed and then pretty blank. I don't remember that word. Especially saying stuff like it's because you have experience with games. I don't play games as much, which makes it seem like it was being lessened because I don't play games. We should put that into italics, which I know wasn't your intent, but it miffed me, because I really do not like being belittled or knocked down on. I have played a lot of games, just stuff that most of you guys don't know, and it's different genres that you guys like, and personally I usually find it stuff like first-person shooters or just action fighting games pretty boring. I find visual novels or puzzles a lot more interesting, even though a lot of people can be bored with them. And reading, like you've expressed, I grew up with games like this, a lot of reading or something that's dear to me, I have a lot of fun with. It's mostly talking about her interests, like tying back to that. It's she didn't like the certain interest in the game that me and this friend were talking about. It apparently we were belittling her and then bringing her down because we were talking about our opinions about the certain games, and then KJ just didn't like it. Point blank period. It's literally, and not even me who said this, but KJ has a tendency to act like this to our other friends too. I just get the worst end of it. I don't know why, but I do sometimes. And I think it's funny that she thinks I was belittling her or looking down upon her, because she has a tendency of looking down upon all of us and belittling our hot takes. So do with that what you will. And she compared us to her family member about how we treated her allegedly, and it's just not cute. It's not funny. It's like, okay. But yeah, it literally proves my point from the whole fact that you have a freaking ego that you need to work on because you think you're higher or mightier than thou, and then you got upset about us for having opinions, like you literally stated. And if the fact that you know that it's not my intention to act like a certain way, why would you take it in that intent? Anywho. Okay, so picking up on the drama, don't worry guys, we're almost done. We're almost done! Yeah, this video might be 2 hours long, guys. Anyway, we're almost at the finish mark. I got a few more things to talk about and touch on. And yeah, but okay. So, segueing from that into fanfiction territory, guys. We're in writer fic territory. Alright. KJ, like a while back, decided to make this thing of hers called Fear the Reapers, which, by the way, that's already trademarked. That's already a book somebody wrote, so you might want to think about changing your name. But she decided to come up with this entire thing about lore and stuff, and I got kicked out of the document, so I can't screenshot it, but what I can say is that I made the world, I helped, okay, I didn't single-handedly make the world building, but I helped make the world building. She made this thing collaborative with the friend group in the server, and then everybody had access to it to add their OCs and stuff, and then we all drew art of our characters and whatnot. And I was, you know, I had like 3 OCs for it, no, 4 OCs actually, for it, 5, yeah, I had 5 characters for it. And I had like lore and everything, and I also decided to do some OC stuff with one of my characters and her characters. And bro, she needed help with the world building. I volunteered my hard-earned time. And mind you, that's like a 60-page document. I spent a month, almost 2 months working on a 60-page document of coming up with some random world building. And mind you, she didn't even use it, so like that shit is free game for me. But to help her out, 60 pages, mind you. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna tell you guys what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take that shit. I have since then privated the document. I don't know if she made a copy of it a long time ago, whatever. But I'm going to change up some things, shake it up a little, and repurpose it for something else that is more demanding of my time for my characters. So I already got ideas. I got plans, guys. I got plans. But then that's gonna dump into the territory of, oh, you're stealing my stuff. This is on the 3rd. Okay. And is it really, if I helped work on it, is it really stealing if we think about it? But anywho, that was the first thing I ever worked on for KJ. And don't worry, I'm gonna put some screenshots about like how long the document was and everything. And like I had my own separate documents for OC lore and whatnot, and another separate document for an OC lore of the meeting and like fanfiction. But from that, you know, let's screw a thing. Let's like, when I'm with my friends and we have OCs we ship together, I like to be creative and make some lore and like write some stuff out. It makes it more interesting, gives me more time to build on stuff. I just like to do that. Any of my friends will tell you that. But later on the line, at like recent events that happened with one of my OCs and one of her OCs, Persephone, my OC, she is being repurposed for something else right now, and I am redoing her lore just to try a bit to reship her with some other OC from another one of my friends. Yeah, my friends are coming in clutch, guys. I love my goated friends for stepping in when my OCs get divorced. Anywho, so a while back I wrote 2 fics actually. Both OCXOC and then next gen OC lore. I didn't finish the next gen OC lore, which now I gotta rewrite it a little bit. to fit for the new OC that will substitute in as the next gen OC parent, her new father figure. But I entirely wrote them by myself, bro. And I'm gonna tell you, it took like a couple weeks to do. And mind you, KJ, for the main one, it was for the first document, for the OCX OC, for the meeting and stuff and the interaction. She said she would help. She said she would put in her effort to help me out in X, Y, and Z, and she never did. And mind you, that's like a 100-page document. If again, screenshots will go above the screen. That I solely handed down wrote. She had like 2 to 3 things of input on it, and that was it. The only thing she really did was spell check me. So yeah, and bro, this one is I get heated a little bit about this last one. For fanfiction, Lashley, bro. I can be honest, I made my fucking shit known. I would post a Twitter screenshot below about my hot take on Ashley. I don't like her. I'll never like Ashley from Resident Evil. She's just annoying. Some of y'all might get your feathers ruffled. Again, it's my opinion. It's my opinion. She's just not a cool character. She's kind of boring. And I don't understand why people ship her with Leon. It makes no sense to me. They don't really have a lot of chemistry. But anywho. So KJ came to me and allegedly, and I will include a clip of her saying what she said in our last argument call about how she was gonna ask me to see if I was comfortable with it, X, Y, and Z. She never did. But like, she asked if I wanted to help her write a murder mystery for Lashley, and again, I don't have to, you know, I can put my differences aside if I don't like a character or not. I can still have fun. And I decided to write for the character for the Lashley murder mystery because first of all, it's murder mystery. I love murder mystery content or like horror content or gore content. And so out of my way, I went ahead and said yes. And then the only thing she had was an idea board. And I think she had like a part of one chapter up. I spent most of my time, I wrote like 6 chapters by myself of like full-on content for that murder mystery, which I was petty, and, you know, deleted half of the original document that she shared with me, like on all the pages that I did and stuff, and like half of her rewritten pages. I did make a copy of the document though. She didn't like half the stuff that I wrote, and allegedly it was too dark of a tone for where she wanted to go with it, and it was a little bit, I will say, weird. It was a little bit creepy, but it's murder mystery. I want to have some fun with it, and bro.
You suggested
I agreed to let her upload it to AO3, by the way, but half of the shit that she posts, it like, so under my original draft, she would make a second document and then put all of her changes to it and then upload the changes and keep very little of the original content. And I can't post anything for the archive of your own because, again, like I said earlier in the video, and like a little note that on the little margin note that I put, her archive of your own account, I can't find it anymore. I think she took it down or something because I have uploaded that to that account in the past because she did give me the password to it, and I uploaded some things from my Tumblr account from like fanfiction from my Tumblr. So yeah. But again, I can't find it. It was called the Chrysanthemum Killer. If any of you like read it or anything. But yeah. I spent a lot of time working on that shit, bro. I should have said no. I didn't like that shit, bro. And you know what I'm gonna do for that as well? Repurpose the entire idea and most of the shit that I wrote that was untouched, unscathed, and repurpose that for something else. Because yeah. Anywho, yeah.
I do have some issues where I definitely get, like, I get arrogant and don't like, and I realize that I get pretty, I guess, what's the word for it? Haughty, mad fast, and I really do keep trying. I keep trying to keep that down, listen out, hear out opinions. I'm trying to remember what you said. Sorry, give me a second. Oh yeah, in terms of like the Ashley, like Leon, I remember I wanted to ask you specifically because I didn't know what you thought about Ashley at the time, and so when you said it was okay, I was like, all right. I'm sorry if I ever felt like you were gonna be forced into that. I really didn't want that. That's why I wanted to ask first if you were okay with it. And
Now we're gonna touch on the people she's talking shit about. I'm no angel, first of all. I have let a lot of shit in the air about what I've said in the past, you know, things I've done. I'm not proud of it, I'm not proud of it. I have to in the past talk shit about people. I made call out posts. But yeah, no, she's not perfect either, because some of our friends, she has in private, on call, talk shit about them to me in like full confidence sometimes, and I'm like, okay. And you know, after we stopped being friends, I just like came clean to some of the friends that we have about the shit talking that KJ has done to like said about them behind their back. And there are like more people who I don't know. She'll talk to me about some random people I don't even know, and I'm like, okay. On call. And come to find out from one of her, well, my friends stopped being friends with her after the events that came out because, you know, finding out she was talking shit is like evil. But come to find out from one of the friends who had been friends with KJ for a long time, this is not her first rodeo, because apparently she's talked shit about people in the past and behind their backs, and I'm like, and now I know for a damn fact that KJ has probably talked shit about me or complained about me to her other friends. Damn, why are you so obsessed with me? Mariah Carey, where? Obsessed. That's probably why I've been sneezing a lot. You know, if you sneeze, there's a superstition that somebody's talking about you or thinking about you. That was a joke, guys. That was a joke. That was a joke. But yeah, this is a small segment, but just know that she does talk shit about people behind their backs. Most times she does it on call.
You'll need to be faster. Donation.
But I know to the friends who I have come clean with and told them, they kind of had a feeling about it, and they kind of already knew. And I'm like,
Try again. No more.
why are we still, what? Why are we not calling her out on this shit? Like, you know? And she has insulted other artists before, talking shit about their art style and stuff, so she's not shy to that either. So, all you young aspiring artists, be careful, she might talk shit about your art next. You know, it's treat others how you want to be treated, bruh. Okay? The sun has risen, but back to this. Also, another thing that I'm going to touch on is her negative attitude towards people. Like, yeah, she is literally being a piece of shit to people, shit talking behind their backs, and also not from just their art or things they do, but also shit talking from the way people look. Biggest example, gonna throw my stuff out there in the wind, because she has probably done this before, and I know she has done this before about other people where she would shit talk their looks, where she would get in a call and complain to me about how people dress. So I was talking to this one person, in talking, I'm not gonna go into my relationships, guys, it's a hot mess, but anywho, I was talking to this person, and then I told KJ, I told a few of my friends, because I was and I actually had asked some of my other friends for advice on certain things, but I showed KJ, and instead of like, you know, expecting her to be happy-ish for me, she proceeded to call the person I am talking to ugly. She misraced him or misticed him, called an opposite race, and I defaulted going straight to Mexican and calling them a beaner. And then on top of that, she just proceeded to just complain about his looks and then say, well, he better be rich. And I'm like,
You fought well, Batman, but I am stronger, faster, smarter.
really?
Until this ends, the only way
Really? Like, out of all of that, you're going to say they better be rich? I'm concerned, literally. And that's not the first time either she shit talked about somebody else's relationship. She has done this in the past to other of our mutuals. When they have gotten into relationships, sometimes she will have her to say common sense to me in DMs about the relationship itself. When, mind you, I'm pretty sure KJ's never dated anyone a day in her life. So for her to complain and give her own 2 cents about our relationships is kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. So, I'm so sorry, guys. I'm like, I had a squirrel brain. I just realized my headphones were like turned down, and I was like going catatonic. So, I had been having a little bit of an issue with KJ, and you know, it was years of pent up rage and frustration and feeling used pretty much and neglected. Oh my god, what is my camera doing? What is my camera doing? And first of all, I know I'm not entitled to anybody's time or patience or presence, and my role doesn't revolve around anyone else other than myself. Point blank, period. And thank you for one of my friends for pointing that out, because it kind of sounded like that in the argument, and it was like shway not cool, and I didn't mean to come off like that. But I was high key getting rather ticked off on little things that KJ was doing, and I started to realize that the friendship just like was not really adding up. Real quick, let me read what I was actually going to send to KJ before she ended up blocking me on everything. Before even like letting me speak my side. Let's see, where is it at? Alright. What I was originally going to send her before being mega blocked was, after thinking this through carefully, I needed to be straightforward with you. Looking back on our friendship, I do not believe I was the one primarily at fault. It was for years that I have been the one expected to take the blame for conflicts to arise, to be the bigger person, and to accept complaints about my attitude, opinions, and actions, and without any real any real action. Okay, I hate words. Anywho, I've been so tired and I'm done with that pattern, and I'm so tired of fighting people. I'm also seeing things more clearly now, and it's including your role in all of this. I should have said it directly in our call, but I was too frustrated. Over the past years, a lot has happened and a lot has been said, and I'm just so tired and no longer willing to apologize for things I do not believe are my fault. I have had to constantly change myself to accommodate to others' expectations, or let people walk over me when my efforts to improve are met with shame. This applies to you too. If you cannot see what you've done, I have already wasted too much time trying to explain it. I'm still working through where my boundaries stand, and considering this particular boundary, if we had another major argument, I will seriously consider the friendship and will go as far as demand recompensation from you. I won't go into specifics, but like now we're at specifics. That's why I'm making this video, and I will try to get my money back, girl. You owe me over $500. Get it? And all I want was to still be your friend, and still be there for you like we were in the past and still have you in my life. But as of right now, I need you to understand that the trust between us needs to be built. Because right now, where I'm standing, you're on like major things for me. And that was from like pent up years of anger, frustration, from all she used to make. By the way, I don't think I edited this into the racist section, but she used to make slave jokes to me. Yeah, I think I added it, I don't know. But she used to make a lot of black people jokes. Remind you, there was only 3 people in the friend group entirely. 2 of us were half black. And that was not cute, bro. I believe so. Like, if I remember correctly, on call she used to make slave whipping jokes, like get back to work. And her excuse behind all of that was that she herself is mixed by being half white, half Mexican.
And so this ends the only way it could.
Okay. And again, before anyone wants to come say, in the past when I was 17, no longer anymore, I did make racist jokes to people. I don't make them anymore. I'm not really public about that. I'm not really for that shit. It, again, doesn't sit right with me. It doesn't feel good. And I know from the back, having grown up with that experience of being literally yelled at, complained to about my race and ethnicity because you didn't know what I was as a kid, and then called every name under the sun, and even being a tether. That shit hurts, bro. That shit really hurts. And I never really got a formal apology from it because when I did complain about it, she kind of low-key stopped for a bit and then complained that I never explained myself to her or explained how I was getting hurt by what she was saying. But later on, I find it funny that she would say that because later on when I would make jokes with other people, non-racist by the way, just basic jokes, that she would get upset because she didn't understand and she didn't have a grasp on what we were talking about and she felt left out by it. And by default, because she felt left out, that we were kind of hurting her feelings. Yeah, and that happened mostly with me and another friend, and again, I can't be name dropping these friends, bro, but like, I protected y'all during this entire thing. I protected y'all names, okay? Y'all will get name dropped in here as KJ for a reason. But yeah, it was a total mess. Also, one thing I forgot. One major thing I forgot to add in the Fear the Reaper section, like in the entire document section, when I was talking about writing the fanfictions, is that later on I did find these screenshots, find it up, and because I was re-looking back through some things, and so way back, I was on call with KJ and the server one day, and then we were looking back on the Fear the Reaper document, and again, I have no access to the document at all because she privated it, and you have to request access now. But one of our friends, one of the mutuals who again is no longer friends with KJ, made an OC for it, like we all did, and KJ didn't like the OC because she thought it was too pick me, and then so behind her friend's back went ahead and changed her lore up, like that. By the way, I helped the friend make the lore, and I was like, okay. And then when confronted by it by our one friend, because I low-key under the download let her know that shit happened, KJ came back to me, saying, oh, I forgot, we changed it. I was just guilty by association because I was on call with you that night that it happened. Like, you changed it, bro. Okay, I'm not the one who has their little fingies typing on the keyboard to go up and change that, half the shit of the document. And then it was very messy.
I can't let Penguin get away.
But yeah, screenshots will be dropped above. The username, the screenshots will be above. Also mention, like, note that KJ's username will be changed because these are screenshots on the friend side. Like what they have KJ's username too, so, and this was like a long time ago, so these are her old screenshots, so keep in mind the profile photo changed, guys. But yeah, if I did have access to the document, I would show like before what the character's lore actually was versus to what KJ changed it to, so there was that. And anyway, falling back onto the actual argument, I had a side tangent because I completely forgot that shit happened. So I will post screenshots above of the last things that me and KJ had said to each other, and while I wanted a mediator because I knew something bad was gonna happen, mediator did not happen, and then we ended up just calling together on private. And then while I initially said, oh, can I record it? She said no, but I felt in my gut, I say my gut, I'm hitting my chest. I felt in my chest that something bad was going to be taken out of context, or she wouldn't remember anything that I was going to say, and then twist the words up. So I recorded it.
Mask dead. I'm on my way there now.
Yeah. Messy, very messy. And also, one thing I want to point out, like one of her comments before, that you will see on screen, by the way, is like, oh, I don't want to call if you're going to record. I just want to talk it out like friends with an issue that doesn't involve having to bring a third party or no recording the conversation. That's not what normal friends do when they have a problem with one another. And yes, I have those feelings because I am hurt over this. It doesn't mean I have a narrative. It just means that I have an issue with the way things have been handled, and that's why I want to talk things out in the first place. I hurt you, and I'd like to know how to not do things again, but you also hurt me. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. Also, by the way, at the end of the call, she did ask what things she could have done better and what things she can do better, and I low-key told her, me and literally everyone else have tried to tell her for years about her issues and things that she has done, but she just chooses to ignore them and not to work on them. And I told her that's for her to figure out, pretty much, because I'm low-key just tired of telling her, like, straight up. The main core issues that she has is she has an ego. She doesn't like to listen to people because she talks over everyone else, thinks she has a better than thou complex, and she uses the fact that her parents are lower sometimes when it comes to that stuff, or that ego stuff, or she uses the fact that she's read more books or whatever, even though she's younger than me. I'm like, okay, I'm not saying people aren't smart who are kids. Look at young Sheldon, but like, KJ, you are no young Sheldon. Let's be honest. You literally have an attitude sometimes when people talk to you, and then when we tell you what's wrong, you just choose not to listen and can choose to fall back onto the same actions that you had. Bro.
Your actions will determine what I do with you.
It's bad. It's really bad. And sometimes you low-key do be using your followers as a clutch. You low-key be using that little 8,000 followers you got as a clutch. Just remember, those are numbers, guys. Those are numbers. Hi guys, post-editing Cloud here, who is not that sick anymore. I wish I wasn't sick when recording. But all I can say is, if there is something I missed, I will probably let it be known on a document or down below in the description of this video, or when I do post like a little caption about it to my Instagram. I say a lot, you know. I'm not that good of a talker. I am still working on that document itself so you guys can see these screenshots in its entirety, because I do understand and I do know that they were very blurry, and again, I was working with the best that I have, and that is the clip champ from Microsoft. I'm no professional. I don't know any editing software. So if you guys have any like tips or anything, any free sites, let me know. I'd be really appreciative, because I would actually like to start posting to this YouTube channel again. I do miss when I used to post like little speed paints and speed draws, and so I might start doing that again and uploading those, and might do some gameplay, because I kind of enjoyed having just the gameplay in the background. So next time I just might do gameplay without my face and just like some random commentary over it. Like a actual commentary channel, oh my gosh. But I do want to give a special shout out to all of my mutuals who have stuck through this entire thing for 2 hours, almost 2 hours. That's crazy. Thank you so much. You're real ones, you're troopers, for sitting through and watching everything, and trying to understand my side about this situation and to spread awareness about this content creator. And to, you know, I'm trying to warn others so that the same thing that happened to me does not happen again to somebody else. So yeah, thank you to everyone on Twitter, Discord, everyone on Instagram, everyone on Telegram. You guys are so sweet, so wholesome. I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for all the kind messages that people have been sending me non-stop during this drama. and also from not only dealing with this, but also getting over being sick for 2 weeks. That you guys are really sweet for sending me your well wishes. I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart, and yeah, I just appreciate and I love you guys so very much. I honestly don't know what else to say other than if you do want to help support me more, my commissions are open and I will be opening them to a discounted price. I'm taking a huge break from Artfight because of this issue, or I might be even trying to do a little bit more on Artfight before I start like pushing out these commissions because I have not been able to even do Artfight during this entire drama or situation, I will say. But yeah, because I do know that KJ will most likely choose to ignore the compensation prices and choose to ignore me and keep me blocked and to ignore the entire situation and not even talk about it or touch on it. All I can do is to just ask you to spread awareness about this, and that's all I can ask. I want to protect future people from, again, falling in victim to the same shit that I have fallen into. But again, if you want to support me, my commissions are open and my DMs are always open about commissions, and that it would mean the world to me to help me to make my money back from somebody who I wasted it on for 4 years, blindly, guilt-trippedly, and I was led into it pretty much, and it was never stopped, because if it was stopped, it would have been done by now. And also to have her, and you saw this in the screenshots earlier, to have her continuously say that I wasn't used for money in the game like that, but to have her go behind my back to other people, and especially IRL people as well, to tell them that I was spending money on her like this, and that they were like, oh, that's your sugar mama, and then for her to not even disagree about it, and to just like wholeheartedly continue to go along with it, that is disgusting. So I know she's probably going to ignore it because she did block me 3 different times when I brought it up to her about compensation prices. So yeah, commissions are open. Want to help me? That'd be amazing. That would mean the world to me, and I'll set up a goal and everything. So yeah, you guys are amazing. I know the community will do its thing, spread the awareness, let the word be known. Normally, again, I don't do this type of stuff, but I felt like it was necessary for this certain situation. So, yeah. I hope to not do it again. I hope this is my first and last rant, the video discussion issue, warning other artists, and yeah, just save your time for somebody else. And again, remember guys, if you see somebody who has a big following, that doesn't always make them a good person. It doesn't always mean they're a sweet person, a wholesome person. You don't know who's on the other side of the screen. You don't know who you're talking to. So yeah. Also, there was one situation I didn't even touch on in here, but I will touch on it in the description down below, or the comments, or somewhere in the pin thing, that I did forget to mention and touch on. It's just this video was so long, and there was just so much more I wanted to talk about and touch on. But for privacy reasons, because a lot of it did have to deal with personal, like, life IRL stuff, I didn't touch on that because I didn't feel morally sound to talk about that stuff. And at the end of the day, I have morals. I have a moral code. I'm not going to talk about that stuff you tell me in confidentiality like that. So, that, yeah, I'm just saying, I made a little pin. If I see that happen, and if I see something like that, if somebody starts talking about my IRL situation, and where this situation, especially from UKJ, if something is mentioned, because I did not go out of my way, I was very respectful about not bringing up your family issues, your family life, or your background. The only thing I really mentioned was that one occupation from your one parent, and that was like it, and most of it was just her friendship drama in its entirety. So if I see anything like that to be brought up about my life, I will be seeking higher action, higher authority. It's not going to be pretty. It's going to be a messy situation. So I highly suggest you show the same respect to me that I showed to you, if you do choose to speak out about this issue. So other than that, thank you guys for watching. All I can ask for you is to be kind to one another, to be nice, and not be mean-spirited. Again, working on that document, And also, if I see any negative comments, any one-sided behaviors in the comments, in my DMs, anywhere else said spread about me, I will be taking note of it. I will be taking a screenshot of every single thing, putting it on a public pin board of shame. Shame board. Okay? So the entire world know about how, like, yeah. Because at the end of the day, you don't know the situation, and you're only told what is given to you, and I decided to tell my side of the story and to tell my truths and to share my evidence and what I had. And again, is so much more evidence that I could have shared, but I am banned from the one place that holds most of the evidence, and I was blocked on some some accounts, so I no longer have access to those evidence, and so it's just like word of mouth, like he said, she said, pretty much at this point. Spread awareness is all that I'm trying to do on my side on what happened to me. So yeah, I don't know where I'm going with this. This is a tangent. This is already a 2-hour long video. Let me cut it short. Again, thank you guys so much. Be nice to each other, love one another, don't be hateful and mean-spirited, and bye.